Hello everyone, this is Cheryl with CNC Are We There Yet? And today we are going to take you on a tour of San Francisco. And we have just a word of advice. Along the way, we love for people to give us referrals and places to visit and restaurants to eat at. But sometimes you need to just go out on your own adventure because we heard a lot of negative things about San Francisco and we had an amazing day. It was just beautiful. So here is San Francisco through our eyes. If you like what you see, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss our weekly videos.
My chances along with my dream.
San Francisco is a city in the north of California. It's famous for a lot of things, but probably the Golden Gate Bridge is what they're most famous for. The temperature into San Francisco is pretty cool year-round. It ranges between 50s and 70s because of where it's located. It's actually a peninsula. It has the San Francisco Bay to one side and the Pacific to the other side. The Golden Gate Bridge is painted red because of all the fog that San Francisco experiences. It's easier to see the bridge in the fog. I thought that was pretty interesting. Lombard Street is a very famous street in San Francisco. It's famous because it's so steep and it has 8 hairpin turns and it's lined with beautiful flowers. When visiting San Francisco, this is a must. Fisherman's Wharf is one of the city's busiest tourist area. It is lined with all types of souvenir shops and stalls selling crab and clam chowder and the popular sourdough bread bowls. When you're down on Fisherman's Wharf, you have to have the clam chowder into the bread bowl. It's super delicious. Although we had such a beautiful day when we visited San Francisco, we still went to the souvenir stores and bought some San Francisco jackets because the wind coming off the water is pretty chilly and we wanted to walk all around the town. It was very quiet, probably due to COVID. There weren't a whole lot of people out and we really enjoyed our day down on Fisherman's Wharf. I especially wanted to go out to Pier 39 because I wanted to see the seals. And although we were told that it can become very smelly with all the seals, when we were there were just a few seals out. There was no smell at all. And it was so cool and so much fun watching these seals and listening to them. I loved it. These locks hanging on the fence at Pier 39 are known as love locks, where people engrave their names and seal their love with these love locks. We didn't because our love is very well locked in, and we didn't have a lock with us either. There is so much to see and do in San Francisco. You need to have at least a day. You can also take ferry rides out through San Francisco Bay. You can go under the Golden Gate Bridge. You can also take a ferry out to Alcatraz if you choose. The Franciscan Crab Restaurant is in the heart of San Francisco, was built into the late 1950s, but was recently remodeled. It came highly recommended. Not only is it beautiful, the view from there is stunning, and the food is really good. We actually had the crab and clam chowder into the sourdough bread bowl there, and we had some drinks. And while we were there, we met a couple who recommended where we should go for dinner. San Francisco is also very famous for its iconic trolleys. The streets in San Francisco are really steep, so the trolleys are really convenient to tour and go up and down the steep streets in San Francisco. The historic original Joe's restaurant came highly recommended, and for a reason. The food was absolutely delicious, and my honey, he loves Italian food and he knows Italian food. The original history of Joe's runs deep. It was opened in 1937 as a 14-stool counter on a sawdust-covered floor by a Croatian immigrant, Tony Rodin. And this restaurant sits across the street from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. This church is pretty popular because this is where Marilyn Monroe married Joe DiMaggio back in the day. We ended our day in San Francisco by visiting the city of Sausalito. Sausalito is such a cute city, and it's right across the way from the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. They are pretty famous for their houseboats, and it was really pretty cool to see all these houseboats. It's such a colorful town. I love the architecture, the buildings. What I really like in San Francisco are the corner buildings on an angle. These are so super cool.